Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for March 8th, 2020, with your host, Beastback2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hello.
You know, I didn't realize it was daylight savings time last night.
When did you realize?
When I looked at my watch and saw it was about an hour behind.
Oh.
But here's the thing, it was about a day ahead.
So then you were actually 23 hours ahead?
More or less. Here's the thing, my watch, for some reason my watch runs fast every now and again, so we'll get ahead of where I put it. And I guess I just have left it alone enough and haven't, tinkered with it, that it just got a day ahead.
Huh.
And it said, it was like, oh, it's Monday. Monday at almost the exact same time it should be. And I'm like, how the fuck did you do that perfectly? How?
Very carefully, I guess.
It's a digital watch, too, mind you.
Huh.
So I'm also not sure how that works either for digital.
Huh.
Granted, I think all of my digital watches, or all my watches have ran fast.
I mean, most either run fast or a little slow.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends.
Mm-hmm. But we got Ghosts to talk about this week. We've got 4 wonderful, beautiful, totally not gonna make me angry episodes.
Why are you lying?
Because they can't see the notes where I have just thrown in at several points.
At least it's not Geo.
Yeah, I'll be honest, yeah. Only parts of these episodes make me annoyed. Instead of make me angry for the entire episode.
And it's odd because goofs in continuity are small compared to what Geo manages to do.
Well, when you're playing with one show rather than 20, it's fine. You can't fuck up that hard. Relatively speaking.
Also, the thing that still kind of, slightly, sort of, definitely still miffs me about the fact of, it's convenient for, Takaru to be invisible when the writers randomly feel like it is.
But then they forget he can control it.
Yeah.
But here's the question. If he turns invisible and the Genmeisers don't turn invisible, can the Genmeisers still see him?
I would have to say yes, because reasons.
I would assume so. So, by now his invisibility is pointless.
Yeah. Except for I'm sure they're going to use it again at some point for no reason.
Probably. So yeah, we are covering episodes 25 through 28. This was the batch you thought you stopped at, right? Last week?
Yeah, I legitimately thought I dropped it after Grateful. Apparently I didn't.
I remember these episodes.
I at the bare minimum watched these 4 episodes.
So you didn't get to see Houdini possess a girl next week.
I might have. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, the next 2 episodes after this batch are directed by Koichi Sakamoto, as I was reminded on by Twitter.
Like I am at the point now where I'm like, I honestly don't remember where I dropped this show, but I know it was before Mugen. So if we get to the Mugen release, then I know for a fact from there on is new.
So it's the same boat as me, except it's after Mugen at some point.
Because I do know the only thing pertaining to Mugen was the one fight sequence right after it debuted.
The proper debut of it.
Yeah. And that's it. And is it bad that the more I'm looking at Grateful, the more I'm also getting angrier with Geo, because I feel like this is the exact same thing and it doesn't work either way?
Oh, you mean the whole consolidating all the powers into one thing with all the faces?
The whole slapping stuff on a suit that is gold for no reason.
Well, Grateful works better. At least it has a design to it. Not.
Yeah, better, but it still kind of looks like crap.
I will just say this right now. I think most people prefer Grateful over Mugen, to be honest. This goes Final Form.
I mean, looking at it from a design standpoint, yeah, I kind of can see that. That does not change my thought on Grateful looks like crap, the way they kind of did it.
Okay, does Grateful look better when they did the Heisei Rider repaint?
I don't remember what that one looked like.
It was like red, white, and black.
I might have to look that up, actually.
I'll pull it
Unless
up.
you got a picture.
I'm already on the wiki. And we're not covering it because it's only in like the Heisei Rider like little mini series. That I have the episodes downloaded for it because I want to watch the individual episodes because those were neat, but not the rest of it. There you go.
Oh. I was trying to figure out what I did with the... why is that not working? Oh. Okay. I think I see why that's not working, actually. Because I do remember I added something into where it would keep it from grabbing random characters.
Oh.
Or it's just broke.
That's entirely fine. Goody.
Okay, good to know.
But yeah, this is for the some anniversary. I forget which one. But more or less, all the Grateful panels are replaced by the Rider logos, and there's like 2 extra because there's 2 more that they needed. Because they needed 1 for Drive and 1 for Ghost. Because there's 17 Heisei Riders instead of 15.
I feel though like that kind of flows a little better.
I wish it had a different undersuit to match the rest of the suit.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with it, I think.
Like, why didn't they use Boost's undersuit?
I don't know, to be honest. Compatibility, maybe?
Maybe?
That'd be my only thought.
But you see it too now that I've said that.
Yeah, this should have the boost undersuit. Damn it, I want a Soto of this so you can, like, rip apart a boost armor or a boost figure and like put the rest of this on there.
I mean, altogether, I feel like that kind of flows better than Grateful, but at the same time, I can't argue against people being like Grateful was a better final form than Mugen, because, yeah. We'll get to that one.
Yep.
I feel like, personally, Mugen was their shot at trying to do a wizard-esque design choice with the suits. And it doesn't work as good.
And not really. Especially when it doesn't do the one thing it was supposed to do.
But yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Anyway, 25 through 28. How are you feeling going into our nice April batch of episodes?
Well, I thought this was going to be interesting because, this would be uncharted territory, except I was wrong.
So this is not uncharted territory.
The more I was watching, the more I was like, I remember parts of this, but then there's other parts that I think I've forgotten. Or blocked out, one of the two.
But the better question is, do you remember them because you watched it, or do you remember because I told you?
No, I remember watching it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I slowly remembered these episodes, mainly the last two, where I just went, oh, fuck, right. I did not like these two episodes for half of it. Oh my god, I don't care. Why are we cutting away from the important stuff?
Yeah, again.
So yeah, we will kick this off with episode 25, Disaster, the Red Sky. So Tucker and Alan are talking after last week's episode, and they agree to go to the Gemma world and help each other. Also, apparently Alan has a tick where he does an evil smile thing, and apparently Akari's the only one that will notice it, so Akari doesn't trust him. So we're delaying that entire plot point for like 2 episodes. Buckle in, folks. We gotta delay it because we gotta go deal with Igor's subplot of whatever the fuck Deep Connect's doing, because I honestly don't remember what it ends up being, and I honestly don't care. So yeah, we see Igor is continuing his schemes with Deep Connect for a scene that I don't remember what is, because I blocked out all of Igor's scenes in this entire 4 episodes because they're all fucking pointless. All of them. They're all pointless. That or they all blur together into one and I can't tell the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next day, Alan and Takaru are planning to sneak off to go to the Genma world without tailoring everyone, but Akari puts a kibosh on that because, no, you must do 2-episode plot here. We can't go to the Genma world yet. Also, I don't trust Alan.
Yeah. But mostly
this
the
is
first thing.
Yeah. This is when we head over to Deep Connect, where the CEO announces Demia, which is... What the fuck is Demia? I don't remember. I don't think they even really specified it. It's like cloud computing bullshit or something. It's some type of network of connecting information that's important and good, I think.
Possibly. I have no idea.
Yeah. But Akari is seeing the announcement because we transitioned from the announcement to her watching it on her laptop or tablet, whichever. And she's suspicious of it because, you know, she's the only one that's actually suspicious of the weird company that all of a sudden is talking nonsense.
That we don't really let the others know is talking nonsense. So, yeah.
Anywho, all of that is interrupted because Gemma has made the sky red-ish in places
Yes,
that
a
would
Ganma.
a Genma. For now, it's a.
I want that to be completely noted there, because they don't even allude to there being another one.
Yeah. Well, the motif, I think, is supposed to make you think it is, because the motif is Wright brothers.
Right, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, really? You can let the viewer know stuff that the characters in the show don't.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a, why is that the surprise twist?
Yeah. Surprise! It's the Wright brothers. Just like it's the Grimm brothers, except there's only like the one Grimm brother for like most of the time until it stops being one and then there's two of them. Yes, Grimm is actually both of them. It's a thing in an episode later that I remember. Anywho.
How far out's that episode?
I don't remember. It's in the latter part of the series. I know at one point that there's this thing about Grimm being actually two people instead of one person, and it's a thing for an episode, and then it's not.
Because I'm almost positive that will definitely be one of those that I haven't seen, because I remember you talking about that.
I know it's probably around the same time that Necrom gets his repaint of Spectre's weapon and as an upgrade, because that counts for an upgrade for him.
Because of course it does.
It's a part of his training with Sanzo. And I think Sanzo also summons like these puppet or the costume things that I think we've already seen as physical suits, and he has to fight them in order to get it. I think that's how that episode goes. I don't remember. Anywho, before our team gets to deal with the Sky Red thing, we have to check in real quick to see Jabel is hobbling around in the trash because he jobbed out clean last week to Takaru in Grateful, even with a power up. So. But back with the team, Takaru and Inari head up to a rooftop, and they have Urizen go get a sample of the red sky in a clear bag, so it can be analyzed. Which, Takaru, you have Houdini icon, you can fly. Why don't you use it? Why does it take most of these 2 episodes for you to remember that you can fly with that damn thing? Like, I don't know why he does the thing at the end of this episode when he has Houdini. So yeah, the Gemma ends up swooping in to attack them. They get the sample away, and Takaru tries to fight the Gemma, but it runs away because you don't get to fight just yet. Katari gets the sample back at the temple. They get to work. While we see that Makoto is still asleep in his pod because his pod hasn't woken him up yet, because I guess there's a timer on it, and the timer was set too long.
But the timer was set to conveniently right before Takaru gets there.
More or less. We check in with Alan, as he's apparently binging on takoyaki, and our good grandma is keeping count of not only that, but the amount of times he says absurd, because grandma is best character. And I love how he says absurd again, and she just counts it again into him. I'm just like, yes, roast his nuts, grandma, you're the best. We see Alan and gets a stomach ache because, he's ate, 10 boxes of takoyaki? And that's about, 8 pieces of takoyaki, I think? That's like 80 pieces of takoyaki he's ate in God knows how many hours.
I feel like it kind of alludes to it being within maybe an hour kind of deal.
Probably.
Like, I don't think it's ever said, but I mean, it's kind of presented like it's super short amount of time.
Yeah. Also, did Alan pay for any of that?
Probably
Did he?
not.
Of course he didn't. Damn it, Alan.
He,
her.
He's not good guy yet. He can't pay yet.
Anyway, she continues to be the best character because she helps out Alan by giving him a bottle of water and some advice. But that's interrupted by Kanon collapsing because the red sky is now affecting her. Because apparently that's, I guess, what killed her in the Genma world. I don't think they outright say it, but considering how she reacts to it in these 2 episodes, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what killed her.
Yeah. If it's not, then that's surprising.
Yeah. So they bring her back to the temple, put her to bed. This is when Takaru lands on the idea of, why don't we just use the icons and the wish to just solve our problem? And I just kind of look at him and go, you remember you have to revive at some point, right? Are you going to forget that you need to do that at some point? Granted, this is the point where we introduce the fact that the wish won't work anymore because fucking I don't know why.
Reasons.
More or less.
That will later be chalked up to the Ganmizers, I'm sure.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So Alan agrees to this, but he's only agreeing for his own means. So they try it. Alan apparently is going to transform and try to fight Takaru in order to just claim the wish for himself to do whatever the fuck he wants with the wish. I don't know.
We assume it's that. It might just be he's going to transform and, snake the wish.
Yeah. Which, considering he doesn't have a ghost driver, wouldn't that fail and he gets disintegrated and not get to appear until the V Cinema?
Maybe.
Because that's the only reason Saionji didn't get his wish.
Yeah, but Saionji wasn't a writer either, so...
He had a half-functioning belt in his bag. That counts. Enough. It counts enough for him to make icons.
Sure. I mean, I guess, though, if you go off of that, can Alan make icons?
I would assume. I don't know.
I don't know if the Necrom driver can do that.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then he only has a half driver too, meaning you might actually be right.
Alan, be thankful. You didn't get disintegrated because Takaru's wish failed. Anywho, the wish ends up failing because the Genmizers block it. I guess all we see is that the wish starts and then Takaru gets blown back and detransformed because he transformed to do it. And I think we cut to the Genmizers real quick. Their tablets and to show that I guess they're responsible. So more or less at this point, any attempt at a wish is off the table, which is why they never attempt this again. But they also never bring up that this happened, so, take it as you will.
Which, to that, I have to say, they could have still introduced the Ganmizers because they technically already have.
Yeah.
And they could just, do something like, Grandpa failing to tell them that it's only one wish per person. Because that would make more sense. But,
Mm-hmm. So anyway, before they try to figure out anything, this is interrupted by one of the monks calling in to say, hey, the Genma's here, you need to go kill it. And we cut away real quick because Adele gets a vision from one of the Genmizers, specifically the one from the Grateful episode, because that's the one we're going to be dealing with for a while, which is technically Nobunaga's counterpart, because it's the purple one. So, at this point, Takaru heads out. But Alan has to fight Javel, not Adele, as I wrote in my notes. Why the hell did I write Adele? No, it's Jabel. He's fighting Jabel because Jabel showed up. It's like, I want to fight you and kill you because I was ordered to. So fight me as I stand here half like dead because I haven't recovered yet from getting my ass handed to me already. But Takaru specifically heads out on Makoto's bike, which is why I say, why doesn't he use Houdini? Because he literally took Makoto's bike. It would let him fly. Or,
convenient.
Or summon Houdini to, like, lift him up, or, like, let him, like, skateboard on him to fly up there. Because instead of doing that, he more or less pulls a 7 Advent Children, where he summons a bunch of the different heroic icons to more or less just shove him up higher into the air to like punch the Gemma back towards the ground, and then Ryder kicks it and kills it. So that's one of our Wright brothers down. Checking in with Alan and Jabel, they draw, and Jabel just leaves because I'll fight you again later when I'm not dead. But we see that Alan's now feeling effects of the sky now. And we close the episode by seeing that the sky remains red even after the monster got blown up. So, oh shit, that's a problem. We need to fix that. Which takes us to episode 26, Conflict, the Terms of Resolution. Our team is regrouping in the basement to try to find a solution. Akari's busy trying to get the monolith to tell her information, which apparently it decides randomly not to tell her information. Why is the monolith not, like, cooperative?
Why is it sentient?
Why is it sentient, not cooperative, and how the fuck does she even access it? Because it's just a fucking brick.
Technology. I don't know.
Yeah. But Akari more or less chalks up how the Red Sky is working to the same thing as the Demia project, which is brain cloud computing nonsense. It's science. It's science. It's just science. Literally. So while Akari's doing this, we see that Igor has another Genma, the other Wright brother Genma, continuing the plan. While we now see that Jabel's under the effects because he drops by to be like, "Hey, you person," and he's still hobbling around. Checking in with the Canon, she continues to try to win over Alan because she's the only one doing that at the moment, more or less, as she's slowly dying again. We check in with the team in the field, and I'm more or less summarizing their entire plot point for the next, 10 minutes of this episode, which is just, they try to find the Genma, only to find out that it's hitting different locations at the same time, which doesn't make sense, until they go, oh, there's 2 of them. Duh. That is literally the next, 10 minutes of their screen time. Checking in with Alia. She's off going around the palace. That is just this underground network that I have no idea how it's laid out because it looks very confusing. Trying to find her father, even after being warned by Adela that, stay out of here, it's off limits. Meh. Checking in with Akari, she ends up hashing things out with Alan by more or less hammering the point of, hey, your world is kind of a shithole. Your world's not perfect. Everything you keep saying is wrong. Maybe you need to think about that. And this is when we see Not Sage tells Adele that Grateful was meant to give the king direct access to the Genmeister's powers. But apparently Adele doesn't need that anymore since the Genmisers are like directly integrating with him, I guess. I don't know.
I don't either.
More or less, he doesn't need to go chasing after Grateful. This is when we see Alan heads out, and he ends up trying to fight the Genma in Igor. But he fails because he doesn't have the resolve yet to break his time limit. So he just times out. And if you think I'm crazy for saying that, no, that's just how we get rid of his time limit, is that he just ignores it. It just stops affecting him. We'll find that out in 2 episodes. But once he's broken out of his transformation, he's a bit down in the dumps until Grim takes pity on him and just slots himself into his driver and summon himself. So he goes Grim. Because Alan can fight as not in a not Necrom form, as long as he's just using one of the heroic icons. Which I feel that's a weird limitation on his power set, is I can fight after I time out, as long as I'm not using my main icon.
I mean, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah. It's just weird that, like, the whole suit's not fueled by that time limit. It's just the main form. Pataku shows up to help out, and our bad guys get away. And this is when Alan just shoves away Pataku because he's like, I don't want help, meh, and just walks away. Checking in with Kyrie once more. She's continuing to work, and Sage is invisible, being like, oh, do I want to help her or not? And continuing his asshole stick that I ignore. But Akari requires no help from him and just figures it out. And he's just like, aw. Checking in with Alia, she ends up finding her father. And he wards her off from coming closer because, he's in the barrier thing that apparently if you touch it, you're dead. Which, that's a very strong barrier.
Yeah.
And he more or less tells her to take care of her brothers because, as we'll find out, he more or less blames himself for what's happened.
I mean, to be fair, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. Back over to Akari. She's got a solution, a cure for whatever generic illness the Red Sky inflicts by just putting a fancy button on you and it cures you. So she does that. She also cures Alan after he's had a talk with Grandma, who once more is giving him advice of, hey, dumbass, follow your heart. Don't be an idiot. Don't be stupid. Stop being an asshole. Be a good person. This is when Akari heads off to one of the rooftops in the building, or in the city, to use her gun to fix the Red Sky problem, because I guess her gun is powerful enough to reach however high those clouds are that are not moving, because that's how clouds work. But she calls in to Takaru and says that she's doing that, so Takaru heads out to help. And now he uses Houdini to fly over, block a shot that was aimed at her, and then take out the Genma. Except since there's 2 Genmas, the other one proceeds to knock Akari off the building, which Alan proceeds to save her with Grim. So now our 2 riders are up against our 2 Genma, and they proceed to tag team them and just blow them up. They're done. Nothing fancy here.
Yep, nothing to see here.
But this whole thing is more or less won over Akari, so the 2 of them prepare to head out to the Genma world. But before they do so, Alia sends a message to Alan somehow to his literal driver to let him know, hey, your dad's alive, or our dad's alive. Doesn't tell him where, just says that he's alive. which makes me very confused of like, why do you not tell him where he is? Who can intercept this message? We end the episode with Adele seeing the Genmeisers transform into a form we will see at the beginning of the episode. And we see Takaru and Alan arrive in the Genma world. So how'd you feel about these first 2 episodes?
I felt like it was padded hard.
Yeah, this extremely feels like a 2-episode padding. Which is even worse when you roll this in with the fact that we had 3 episodes of padding because the last episode from last week was the superhero time team up that did nothing except start the process. That then takes 2 episodes to get through.
Did nothing.
Yeah. So it's also, I've noticed that Alan does not use Sanzo a lot for some stupid reason. He very much uses Grim all the time, and I don't know why.
Budget, maybe?
I don't know. He's only used like Sanzo once.
Is there anything they could have repurposed parts of that for?
No.
Then that makes me wonder if maybe that was more CGI?
I was about to say, it'd be about the same amount of CGI that Grim would have for the pins.
No, I mean, maybe they just did the whole suit like that.
No, it's a physical suit.
Well, then that makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing I've noticed. It's just like, Alan uses Grim a lot. I don't know why. I don't know why he doesn't use Sanzo more.
Unless that's supposed to just be like his go-to.
It probably is, because I think
kind of like Tut and Musashi.
Well, I was going to say, like, doesn't Makoto use Nobunaga more than Tut?
He's the weird one. He uses both a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Houdini gets almost 0 showtime.
Well, it doesn't help that you have the big giant backpack that can only exist as CGI, because we do not have a physical version of that. We have a physical version of the parka, as we saw with this episode, since Takaru used it with Booze, but the backpack? Fuck no. There is no physical prop of that. But anything else before we move on?
No.
All right, episode 27, Do or Die, ready for infiltration. So we start with the team instead of Takaru and Alan, because that's going to be a trend that you're going to find that I'm very angry about by the end. Have more or less learned nothing about the Genma tech, because it's beyond their years and beyond their capabilities. Thanks. So it's alien tech, more or less.
More or less, yeah.
Anywho, we check in with Takaru and Alan now as they continue to search around. While we see that Alan's father blames himself for Adele's actions. Bear in mind, Ali is still in the room talking to him at this point, which makes me go, Alia, when the fuck did you send that message to Alan? And how?
Yep.
Anywho, we check in with Adele as he sees the Genmeiser turn into him with a fancy color-coded bodysuit. So he's more or less a Power Ranger now. And all the rest of the Genmeisers do as well, so it more or less is a one of us type of situation. Also, be prepared to see this. This is going to be how the Genmisers act for the rest of the fucking show. If they are not copying Adele, they are copying another character. You're not going to like where that one goes. Anywho, back over to Alan and Takaru. He gives directions to Takaru to where Makoto is. Only, I guess these directions are the wrong directions because he just uses them to give him the slip so he can go off on his own. To not do anything important because I don't know where the fuck Alan goes because Takaru makes it to everything important before him. Because he goes and checks in with Alia, who didn't tell him beforehand where their dad was. But Takaru was the one that not only makes it to Makoto first, but also to his dad first. Yeah. While having no idea where he is.
Yeah.
So meanwhile to all of this, our subplot for these 2 episodes to pad out the runtime is Akari and Nairi being in the slump because this is super important to these 2 episodes. Moving on. I'm more or less going to be ignoring a lot of them for the next 2 episodes. There's nothing important outside of one action because it causes someone to be really obsessed with it. And I wish I was kidding. So we see that Takaru gets cornered by the Genma, so now he has to fight them off with Grateful. And I had the thought when I was doing the notes, can he just follow the Grim and Sanso icons to follow Alan?
You would think.
Because they go back to him.
Every time.
That's their deep. Why can't you follow them? Or just ask them, where's Alan? This direction. Anywho, we see that Makoto wakes up as Adele says his father can be killed to a bunch of Genma, so apparently Adele has Genma that are just directly loyal to him and not just to the cause, I guess. Because wouldn't they have a problem with that? Does Adele just have his own faction of Genma that we just don't really talk about?
Maybe. Or maybe because now that he's whatever they call him, they all just blindly follow him now?
I guess. Anywho, Takaru. Takaru after...
kind of dumb.
Yeah. Anyway, Takaru, after doing his fight scene for the episode, one of his multiple fight scenes for the episode, finds Makoto's pod, but no Makoto, because he's busy elsewhere, because apparently his clothes were nearby.
Yeah. You noticed that too.
Yep.
Yeah. Convenient.
Mm-hmm. We check in with Ollie and Alan as they more or less catch up on stuff. And this is when we cut over to Makoto, who finds his Spectre icon along with a new Sauron icon, as I'm calling it, because it's just a fucking evil eye thing. But Not Sage is going to show up and tell Makoto, I'm going to give this to Takaru. Give this totally not evil icon to Takaru, unless you get it, take it, because you're supposed to help me. You made a promise. And Makoto's like, fine, I'll take the evil icon and help you. And for reference, yes, this is kind of an evil icon. Because
or at least that's what it's supposed to be.
Spoilers, it's directly connected to the Genmai series, because it's going to lead to a very stupid plot for the rest of the series.
Yay.
So yeah, Makoto takes it and it turns into the Deep Spectre icon. Which I think I've seen artwork of someone doing Deep Ghost as to say, this is what it would assumedly look like if Takaru actually did get given the icon. I don't remember what it looks like. I just remember I've seen that.
I mean, wouldn't it technically look like a different variant of Boost?
More or less. I think that's what it was, really. it's a more fiery boost. Because that's what Thief Spectre is. It's just a more fiery version of boost. Because it's more or less Spectre's boost.
Except it's more powerful.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't power level wise it be more on par with Grateful?
Yes. Except it has the added bonus of being able to do form changes.
I mean, true.
Anywho, in the middle of all this, Jabel tried to attack Anari, but he collapsed because, he doesn't have the strength for it. And Anari takes pity on him by giving him the antidote for the Red Sky stuff and giving him food because he's a friendly Buddhist monk. And he hints at his backstory that I don't think we ever get into. Now that I think about it, I don't think we ever get any backstory on like him or like one of the two monks. One of them we get into the backstory of, the other one I don't think so. Anyway, checking in with Alan real quick, he sees one of his people disintegrate in the pods, so now he's caught up with Takaru on information.
And now he realizes that Takaru wasn't just making stuff up because reasons.
Oh, Takaru wasn't lying to me. Shit. Damn. Well,
I feel like this is the point where he's like, crap, he wasn't lying to me. I was just blind. Great.
Maybe my hellscape of a world is not perfect and is bad, and maybe we need to fix it. Anyway, this is when Takaru actually finds Alan's father and breaks him out of jail because just summoning his sword and smacking the pillars worked. Which makes me go, Alia, aren't you supposed to be able to transform? Why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you break him out first? Alia, why didn't you transform and do a thing? Why weren't you helpful? Thanks, Alia. But this is when Alan shows up to have a chat with his father real quick, and his father's like, you got good friends and stuff, and don't blame yourself too much for this, and doesn't really get into the whole people disintegrating part because unfortunately the Gemma show up and try to shoot Alan, and his dad takes a shot for him, and now he's going to die very, very slowly.
Yep.
About the time it takes for an entire action sequence to happen because Takaru, who's enraged by this, has to go fight the Genma, and he does.
In a completely different area.
Yep. That's just next door, I guess. Anywho, after he does that and comes back, this is when Adele shows up behind Takaru and kills the dad off for good, so he's disintegrated and done. And Takaru, who, would be extremely pissed by this, as I'm sure he's probably reminded of his own dad being murdered. Now he has to fight the one Genmiser who turns into his proper monster form now. So I have to ask, how would you like the Genmiser designs? Or the one Genmiser design we have?
I mean, it could be worse.
It's not gonna.
I don't hate it, but I also feel like they tried to maybe throw too much at it at the same time.
That might be a trend for a few of the Genmisers, because I'll say this now, we are not going to get a monster suit for all of the Genmisers, because some of them are just weapons. They're just sentient weapons. And other of them are just like a cloud.
I swear you mean sentient in quotations.
No, I mean sentient as in they are actually sentient weapons. Because remember, we've seen all the Genmeisers in their Adele form, and they transform into their monster form, which means they are literally sentient weapons. A couple of the others are just like balls of an element. So like I think one's just like a ball of magnetism. I think there's only like 5 of them that have actual monster forms. But anywho, we end the episode with Takaru having to fight this Genmeiser, which takes us to our last episode, episode 28, Bursting Power of the Depths. Adele orders Alan and Takaru's death. Execution, actually. And Alan, after seeing his dad killed, is a bit out of it, so he's not helpful. So Takaru has to fight. And he feels grateful. And Nobunaga tells him to summon him. And Nobunaga comes out and tells him, I'm going to distract Genma while you run. Because, I get blown up, I just come back to you. So it doesn't matter. So at this point, we check in with the team doing a bunch of crap that I don't give a shit about. And I'm not even going to bother recapping because it's not important. Because I think all this is QB's in a slump. I think. And apparently he draws better when he's in a slump, but that's not what he wants to draw, so it's stupid and dumb. It's whatever. Anyway, we check in with Igor now. He's doing a thing with, I think, the Mozart Genma that's been going on for actually the entire last episode, but I didn't recap it because it wasn't important. More or less, he wants a song for the premiere of Demia, and the Mozart Genma keeps proposing music that Igor doesn't like, and he runs off eventually because, fuck you, you're an asshole. Anyway, back to important stuff. Alia ends up finding Takaru and Alan and points them to a way and leads them out until I think Genma show up, and then she tells them to run for it, and I guess she buys them time. And I seriously thought that this is when she did a fight scene, but no, that's later. Because we don't see Alia for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
There's some more stuff with Igor. Back with Takaru and Alan. They end up cornered by the Genma, and Takaru has to fights them off in Boost instead of Grateful, where he could summon help because Takaru didn't think that far ahead, I guess. So he's stuck trying to protect Alan in fight, and he's getting beat up for it. See you later, Locke. This is when Makoto shows up, and then the two of them proceed to clean house. But in the middle of all this, the two Genma end up on a bank, and Kanon's talking with them, and then Igor shows up to fight them, and then Jabel shows up and punches Igor once, and he's done. And then Akari slapped the shit out of him, and then he ran. And that's it. That's the entire subplot.
Yeah, that pretty much summed it all up right there.
Yep. The only part here is that Akari slapped Igor, because that's going to be a running joke for the rest of the series. Is Akari slapping the shit out of Igor. And if I remember right, he comes to like it after a while. I think. I might be wrong on that. Anywho.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Neither would I. Anyway, back with the important stuff. Our writers have regrouped, and Makoto, after finding out what happened with Alan and his dad, decides to apply the tried and true technique of punch the problem out of my friend by proceeding to punch him and telling him to fucking get a hold of yourself. You need to, do something instead of just, sitting there doing nothing. So this is when Adele and the Genmeiser show up to kill them. And Alan finally snaps out of it, but just being pissed enough to be like, fine, fuck it, I'm punching something. So the three of them transform to fight the Genmeiser. only Takaru ends up getting paralyzed and grateful because Genmisers are apparently blocking him or something. I don't fucking know. All I know is we see him float up into the eye thing that's in the middle of all the monoliths, and then it just shorts out his transformation, and he's stuck kind of paralyzed for the rest of the episode. So, your guess is as good as mine. But with this, and the fact that Makoto and Alan can't beat the Genmiser, they run! So the three of them end up on a beach on the other side of the portal Alan summoned. Only Alan took a shot on the way out, so he's down for the rest of the fight, or for the rest of the episode, leaving Makoto the only one capable of fighting. And seeing that he's underpowered, pulls out the Deep Spectre icon and uses it, and more or less kind of forces it, or kind of like makes a deal with it to make it work, I guess.
Yeah.
But it proves powerful enough to take out the Genma with the Genmiser and the Genmiser itself, especially since he has the fancy not sunglass slasher in red and blue colors. Yes, Makoto now has Makoto has his own version of the sunglass slasher in its own colors, because you thought I was kidding when I said this was Spectre's boost. It literally even has Boost's own weapon. Anywho, day is saved. Everybody celebrates. And we see that apparently everyone was nearby this beach with QB and the other guy. We find out that the two of them are leaving to go like find themselves or something. I don't remember if they ever fucking come back. I don't think they do. But they're gone. But we end the episode by seeing that the Genmiser reforms in the prayer room in its monolith form, because they don't die. They are practically fucking indestructible. Because, trust me, it's going to take a lot to kill them. And that's it. So, how'd you feel about these two?
I feel like part of me wants to say there was a lot more filler with this. The other part of me is like, there actually was plot too, so...
There was plot.
This is one of those, I feel like it's a case of its plot buried, like, deep in filler.
Yeah, more or less. I don't know why the rest of these two episodes are here. Why isn't just these two episodes just the Genma World stuff? Why can't it be like last time where it's just Genma World stuff? Why must we have the slump one?
Here's the thing. The last two-parter led into the reason why they went to the Genma World. Why couldn't this all have been one, and then we pick back up on the 2-episode arc?
Yeah. Ugh. This is just all the crap with QB and the Mozart Gamma and all that just brings down the fact that, hey, Deep Spectre just debuted and I don't care. Because, oh boy, did I not like everything in these two episodes that wasn't Genma World stuff. Goes somehow, even with good episodes, brings it down.
Yep.
By some miracle. Into, wow, this show can be incredibly boring at the literal 28 episode mark. So, anything else?
I can't think of nothing.
Alright then, next week, we keep going. Because we're not out of the woods just yet. We're not to the movie material just yet. We got 8 more episodes before we can cover one movie. And that's the Ichigo movie. But the good thing is, next week, half of our episodes are directed by Koichi Sakamoto. So at least the action will be really good for fucking once in this series. I feel like the only time I get excited with the action is when Grateful is actually tag teaming with the heroic icons. Because it feels like we get actual fights.
True.
But anything else?
I can't think of nothing.
All right, then. If you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. We really appreciate it. Chipping away at that follower goal. We are 5 follows away. Still. Exclamation point, Discord and chat. Get to the Discord link. Drop by, say hi. We'll answer your questions you put in the Dropbox there. Either here or on the podcast we're doing tomorrow. That depends on where it's more relevant. And at TG Saloon on Twitter, we'll get you alerts on when we go live. But that'll do it for me, for Tommy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for when we make up TGS.